Okay, this is the brain, this is the front, this is the back side. Okay, so we're gonna go over the telencephalon first. So the telencephalon has the cerebral hemisphere. You have your left and your right cerebral hemisphere. Okay, then you have your cerebral cortex, which if you open it this way, it's the outermost portion of the cerebrum. Or if you do it like this, again, it's the outermost portion. Okay, then the next parts that we have on the brain, put this back together real quickly, is well, before we go do that, let's just do the top part right here. Okay, you have your frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital. Okay, and then the one that separates the left and right cerebral hemisphere is your longitudinal fissure. Okay, and on the back that separates your occipital and cerebellum is your transverse fissure. Okay, so you have two fissures, longitudinal fissure, transverse fissure. You have two sulcuses, lateral sulcus and then the central sulcus. Okay, and that's for the most outer portion of the brain. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. These worm-looking things, I like calling them worm. These are the gyri.
Or gyri.
Gyri. And then the grooves or the lines is called the sulci. Okay? Thank you. Now we're gonna look at the telencephalon is everything on the top portion and upper portion of the brain. So there's only like a few more things on here. You have your corpus callosum right over here. Okay, and the last thing is your olfactory bulb. It's right over here. If you put the brain back together, you have your olfactory bulb. It's right up here. Okay.
Open it back up.
Uh-huh.
We forgot a couple that were added. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
Septum
sorry.
pellucidum.
This is so you have your corpus callosum, septum pellucidum, and then you have your fornix, which is right over here. So it's
You guys using both brains?
Go
no,
for it.
corpus callosum, septum pellucidum, and the fornix. Okay? And then if you open it back on top, oh, he said we don't need to know that. All right, so that is the telencephalon. Now we're gonna move to the diencephalon, and as we keep going down in the developmental region, we're gonna go lower and lower, lower. So we just went over the telencephalon. Now we're gonna go to the diencephalon. In diencephalon, you have the biggest thing, which is makes this triangle thalamus. I call it the triangle thalamus. Here you have your thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus. So it makes this triangle right here. Okay. Then right next to the epithalamus, remember the epithalamus is behind, like the back portion of the brain. Hypo is in the front, and thalamus is on top. Okay. Then right over here you have these two little bodies. This is the pineal body, and then the mammary body. Okay. And then in between the thalamus, you have the ventricles. So you have this thing like right over here, hollow spaces. This is called like the lateral ventricle. That's like right in between the corpus callosum. You have your lateral ventricles right here. And right over here, you have your interventricular foramen. And then your third ventricle right over here. And then the third ventricle goes into the cerebral aqueduct to the fourth ventricle. But that's not part of the diencephalon. Yeah. So back to the diencephalon. Thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, pineal body, mammary body, infundibulum, which is this thing right over here, and you have your pituitary glands, but they're not here. Okay. Then we're going to go to the next region, which is the mesencephalon. So we're going down a little bit more, which is right over here. Okay. So the first thing is the cerebropeduncle, and it's this thing right over here. It's right below the thalamus. Okay, so 32, that's the cerebropeduncle. Then 31 is the corpora quadrigemina, and it's these two bulbs right here. There's technically 4, because it's one side, 2 on each side. So 31 is the corpora quadrigemina, and right next to it is the cerebrum cerebral peduncle, and then 34 is the cerebral aqueduct. Okay, that's the mesencephalon. Last thing is the myelencephalon. Okay, this portion right here, this is the medulla oblongata right over here, and then the fourth ventricle is going to be like this line right there.
You forgot a few.
Oh,
You completely jumped
I
the...
jumped metencephalon. I was like, why does it seem so short? Okay, my bad.
You're gonna need the syrup
Yeah.
for that.
So I accidentally went mesa, and then I skipped meta and I went straight into the epi. So now the mesencephalon is right up here, and there's only about 5. You have your pons right here, okay, and then you have your cerebellum, which there's 2. Oops, put it together. Okay, so this is your cerebellum. You have 2 hemispheres, your left and your right cerebellar hemisphere, and then that thing right in the middle of it, that's called the vermis. Okay, and then you have your arbor vitae, and there's around the arbor vitae is the cerebellar cortex. Okay, and then the myelencephalon is the medulla oblongata and 4th ventricle, and that's it.